So we also mentioned that we wanted to place a couple of other windows in a few different places. So if I click on this window here, I'm going to say I want to place a 36 by 72 window, a nice 3-foot window right at the end of this corridor, just to let some light in, right? So if I go ahead and do that, I can go to architecture window, and I can say I want to choose the 36 by 72, and I'm going to place it right here, right centered in that hallway, right? Nice wide opening, and again, if I look at it in 3D, now I can kind of see I've got that same opening. I can also make sure, what's also good to do, everybody, is to make sure that the mounting height are the same, right? See, these are all 1 foot. These other ones are 1 foot 6, right? Now, the reason I have these at 1 foot, because they're on this space, the ones that are 1 foot 6 are on that space. You always want to have those windows lining up on the same faces, on the same elevations. I guess I shouldn't say faces, I'll say elevations, right? So the same could be said down below. I could say down here, I also want to copy a window, right? And I can say I want this window from to paste a line to selected levels to the first floor, the third, and the fourth floor, right? And I can also say put these two windows down on the first floor as well, because I didn't do that before. All right. And also these windows could go down to the first level too. I didn't. Well, these are actually on the corridor, right? But I can say paste, and I can see how those look. I may not exactly like those there, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got now. So now we've got a couple of nice windows there. If we look at that 3D elevation right there, we can kind of see them there, and then we can kind of pan around and look at this left elevation. All right. So now we've got our windows there as well. And again, we're on this building, people remember, we're not looking at a super pretty design. We're looking at something that's functional, teaching us how to put a building together and basically let light in where we need to let light. But what about our stairwells? Let's get some light in our stairwells too. How would we do that? Well, let's go to the second floor, because of course we wouldn't have it on the first floor because we have a door down there. But we could take this same window here and we can say create similar right on this corridor, right, not right on this stairwell right here, right on the landing as people are going to go down, and we can just align it to that window right there, right? And now I can say give me this window, and I can say copy and then paste align to selected levels, right? 3 and 4, right? And now we've got nice little windows um, in our stairwell. Let's do the same thing in the other stairwell. Let's go over to here, back to the second floor, and let's see. Oh, nope, I want the second floor. Sorry. In this stairwell, I probably put the window along the back. So maybe along the back of this window, I can put a nice wide window, kind of like I have in the offices. Maybe I can put a nice large 6-foot window back there. All right, let's try it. Kind of center it in that stairwell, and then click here and say copy, and then paste align to selected levels to the third and fourth floor. All right, and then we can kind of pan around, see how that looks. Doesn't look too bad, huh? So now we're starting to really see, the outside of our building begin to take shape. Now, here's what we need to know about windows in stairwells. Of course, a stairwell has a fire rating, and that fire rating we're mostly concerned about it being on the inside, right? And right now on our stairwells we have these generic walls, right? So we're going to have to turn them into the type of wall that we need. Um, and for these, excuse me, sorry, I felt like I was going to sneeze for a second. Um, what I want to make sure I'm doing is providing the type of wall here and here that is going to give me that 2-hour fire rating. So what wall are we going to do? We're going to make sure that we've got that masonry wall right there. And that masonry wall is the one that's going to help us maintain that fire rating. The same is true over here with this wall. And that wall goes all the way up to the roof. We're just going to turn it into a masonry wall. And now that masonry wall is what's going to help us have it. And we can paint that masonry wall. We can put some sort of finish on it. We're not going to worry about it too much, but just having that masonry wall there is going to be important for us. So on this outside wall, one of the things that we have to remember is if we're going to put a window in here, we know this wall is fire is going to give us the fire rating we need, but anytime we punch an opening, we compromise it. So what we have to make sure of is it's not so large, and this is something that we're not actually going to go into, but I just want you to understand that there are rules to putting these types of windows into an enclosure that's supposed to be fire rated. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go forward. Whenever you've seen these stairwells that are all made of glass, or these stairwells that are made of like perforated metal and things like that, the rules that they have to abide by ensure that the fire rating of the stairwell is not compromised. Because here's the deal: the fire is happening somewhere on the interior of the building. It's not happening on the exterior typically, which is why we can put these windows in here. Okay, so from that point now, we've got the windows in that we're going to want to have in the building. Let's start getting our rooms notated see how we have our rooms on the first floor. We need to have those on the second floor. So of course we're not going to have we won't have all the same numbers exactly downstairs as upstairs. They're not going to match up exactly, but for instance, like this lobby entry here, I'm going to use 200 up here in this elevator lobby. Now watch what happens, of course, when I pull this out here. See that? I've got to put something in to define this lobby, and that's a room separation line. So let's do that. Let's put in a room separator, and let's put it right on the edge of that wall, down to what? Basically down to that right there. And then let's kind of cut off from here over to here. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring a room in here now, and this is going to be, and I'm going to change this to 1/4 inch for right now. It's going to have to change back later, but I'm going to say that this is the what? Elevator lobby. And this is going to change. This is going to be 200, right? So that's elevator lobby, right? And then on the first floor, what's this area called? This is an alcove, right? So I'm going to say that the area here is also an alcove, right? It's going to be 201, and we're going to call this alcove. And now we have our bathrooms, right? So let me, something's looking a little strange on my drawing. I'm not quite sure why. Let me pause the video for just a moment. Discovered a bit of an issue. We forgot to, or I forgot to have you all trim that wall. So basically all I'm really doing is kind of trimming right there, right? And that old door isn't going to be needed anymore, so I can just say delete instances. I'm going to go ahead while I'm thinking about it, and I'm going to do that on the 3rd and the 4th floor as well. So let's go in and do that. I can trim this, right? Delete that instance. 4th floor, I can trim this, and then I can say delete that instance, and we're okay. All right. So going back to the second floor now, let's put our rooms in. We know on the first floor we had our men's and our women's room. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go room, and I'm just going to put in what? I'm going to put in 202, 203, and right, this is going to be not 204, but this is going to be 202A. Right? And this is going to be, remember we made this lact, L-A-C-T for lactation. Right? And naturally this will be the women's room. And this is going to be the men's room. Now, I'm going to wrap this video up and then we'll continue on with our numbering in our next video. But I want you to see something. Here's what you don't want to try to do. Okay? Check this out. If I copy this line here and this line here, my room separation lines, and I say copy and then paste a line to selected levels, third and fourth, that worked, right? So if I look at third floor, there are my separation lines, but look what happens here. I haven't copied some other things up yet, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The same is true with the fourth floor. But what you don't want to try to do, what can get tricky sometimes, some people are like, oh, what will happen if I go in here and I select this one here, this one here, and this one here, and say copy, and then paste a line. Let's just do it to the third level. Sorry, not the views. 1, 2, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Problem selecting today. Copy, and if I try to go paste a line to selected levels, you see how it won't allow me to do that? You can't just copy rooms up. You've got to place them, and the reason you got to place them because it's going to keep numbering them in succession. It knows that you're going to want to call those probably 3 or 4, so it doesn't want to let you copy it up. Because as you go to place them, it'll still place in the series, just like it wanted to place another 100 room. It's going to want to place another 200 rooms. So we don't want to try and copy those up. The room separation lines, yes. The other things, no. All right. In the meantime, the last thing I want to do in this video is I want to select this wall here and all these doors, right? Because I'm on the second level. I want to put all this stuff on the third and fourth levels. All right. I grab the walls and all the doors. The windows select automatically in there because they're part of the wall, right? So once I have all that selected, what can I do? Let's see if I can go to copy the clipboard and then paste a line to selected levels, the third and the fourth floor. And so now on the third floor, I've got my offices, kind of missing some stuff down there. The same is true on the fourth floor, right? So let's get that stuff in as well while we're in here. It's not going to hurt anything. We've got this wall here, and this, right? And then I can say copy and then paste a line to selected levels for the third and the fourth floor. And now I think we got to the point and we're ready to put our rooms in there when the time comes. So we'll go ahead and pick back up in the next video. You can get caught up with the windows and get these first few rooms placed, and then we'll get the rest of that stuff placed together in the next video.